So in this video we're going to prepare the spike samples. So now we've filled the plate with the RZ LPS standard curve and the two different non-spiked samples in the three different concentrations in 50, 100 and 1 to 200 dilutions. And now we're going to prepare the spiked samples. And the spiked samples of course need to be at the same concentration of your non-spiked samples. And in order to do this, we're going to make another pre-dilution on top of that to spike it with our R3 that we've prepared also in the previous video. So instead of making a 1 to 50 dilution in your tubes, we're going to do a 1 to 25 dilution. So once we have added or spiked our sample with the R3, we're going to have the same pre-dilution concentration as the samples that we put here, 1 to 100 to 200 and 400. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to again take 960 microliters of RPMI, again without any supplements, so just RPMI. And I will be adding 40 microliters of your product 1 and product 2. So the same for product 2. Then vortex to mix well. So here we prepared the 4x pre-dilutions that we're going to spike. So at the 1 to 25, 1 to 25 dilution. And what we're going to do is, if we take the R3 and we're going to add 1 milliliter to it, we are making the 2x pre-dilutions in our test samples. So the 1 to 50 dilution. And we're going to spike it with an R4, so the middle of the standard curve. So because we're diluting the R3 concentration with our samples, we're going to end up with a 1 to 50 sample product dilution and an R4 spike solution. So I'm going to do that by taking 1 milliliter. And I always like to vortex before I'm using my LPS solutions. So that tip just fell off. I'm going to take 1 milliliter and add it to our AS1 and AS2. And R3. Sample 2. So now we've prepared our spiked samples of product 1 and A in the highest concentration. So again, to recap, we made a 4x pre-dilution to spike it with R3 at a 1 to 25 dilution. So because we added the R3, we diluted the R3 to the R4 dilution, and we diluted the product dilution from 1 to 25 to 1 to 50. And that matches the non-spiked concentrations that we already have in the plate. And here we again going to do a serial dilution in the plate, but because we of course have spiked with an R3 to an R4, we're now going to make the R4 solution from the R3 dilution to do the serial dilution in the plate. So I will take 2 milliliters of R3. And put it in the R4 tube. And then add 2 milliliters of RPMI. To do a 1-to-1 dilution. And of course you can also do this with a serological pipette. And vortex again for at least 1 minute. So now I have the R4 here. So again, the reason why we make this R4 is because our spiked samples are also in R4. So if we want to dilute the product in the 1-to-50, the 1-to-100 and the 1-to-200, we of course need to pre-fill these other wells with an R4 concentration solution, so it matches the R4 concentration that we have in our spiked sample product. So here again, I'll just take a sterile liquid container. I take the R4, put it in the container. I take my multi-channel, and again in quadruplicates, and I'm gonna pre-fill the row E and the row F of the plate, and then for both samples. So that will be column 5 to 12. And now we're going to add our product. So again, a fresh container. We're going to do the 1. I'll take again 4 tips and put them in 1, so that will be row D. And then for the serial dilution, I'm going to take another 100 microliters and put it in E, where I already pre-filled it with the R4, and going to mix it by pipetting it up and down. Again, 10-15 times, all the way down. Again, take 100 from E, put it in F, dilute it there, all the way down, take 100 and discard it. So now I did it for sample 1. I'm going to do it for sample 2. Same thing. Take a fresh container, of course. 4 for sample 2. Put it in D. Add another 100 to the pre-filled wells in E and F. Pipe it up and down 10 times. All the way out. Take 100. Go to the next one in F. All the way out. Take 100 and discard it. So of course be careful to really take out the last 100, so that in all the wells there will be an equal volume of 100 microliters. And so here what we did in this step is that we've made a 4x pre-dilution of our spiked sample. We used the R3 to spike it and to dilute it to R4. And in this case we were matching the concentrations that we have in the non-spiked samples. And then we serial diluted in the plate using an R4 solution to match the same concentration in your non-spiked. So in the first row we have a 1-to-50 dilution, and we have the same in the spiked samples and so on, with a spiked concentration of R4 in our RZ standard curve.